Country music glittered under the stage lights, looking almost armored against embarrassment. Yet behind every rhinestone suit lurked a moment that could make even the toughest cowboy blush. Today, you and I are stepping out of the neon glow and into the real-life fumbles agents tried to bury, the snapshots that remind us legends bleed red like everyone else. Keep watching, because by the end you'll know which superstar's disaster actually boosted ticket sales, who nearly burned the Country Music Association's crown jewel to ashes, and why one ill-timed wig wobble might be the most profitable slip in television history. Dolly Parton was spinning across a network soundstage when the spotlight caught the exact second her signature blonde tower slid sideways. For a breath it dangled, revealing natural brunette roots millions had never seen. Gasps rippled through the studio audience. Dolly didn't flinch. She yanked the wig back, flashed the grin that sells out arenas, and fired off, "Well, sugar, that wasn't for public viewing." Laughter detonated, ratings spiked, and the clip lived rent-free on daytime talk shows for months. Somewhere in Nashville, a publicist poured extra coffee and rewrote tomorrow's press release. Loretta Lynn understood stage terror too. One Saturday night at the Grand Ole Opry, her sapphire dress strap snapped mid-chorus, threatening to turn the coal miner's daughter into the coal miner's Flash. Lightning fast, she caught the fabric, kept singing, and joked, "Y'all always wanted a peek, huh?" The crowd roared. Backstage, she cackled the way friends do after a roller coaster drop, then demanded sturdier stitching before the next curtain. The malfunction became a punchline she deployed for years, proof that steel nerves pair nicely with Kentucky twang. Reba McEntire's stumble was less risque but equally memorable. Gliding down a staircase at the CMA Awards in a scarlet gown wider than a tractor trailer, she snagged the hem, pitched forward, and almost bulldozed the podium. Cameras caught the split-second panic, then her prairie-tough recovery, a wink, and guess that's one way to get attention. Viewers applauded the humility. Designers shortened award show hemlines industry-wide. Porter Wagoner had no such safety net when his rhinestone trousers surrendered during a duet with Dolly. One enthusiastic lunge caused a seam to burst from hip to knee. The audience gasped, then cackled as Porter shuffled off stage holding glittering fabric together like a sequined taco shell. Dolly doubled over laughing, later teasing him on live television. Sales of reinforced stage costumes quietly rose the next quarter. Conway Twitty suffered a blank-minded eternity under the footlights. Halfway through a love ballad, he stared into a fan's eyes, forgot the entire third verse, and stood frozen while strings swelled behind him. 30 seconds of silence on national television felt like 30 years. Finally he laughed, confessed the distraction, and restarted. Viewers forgave him instantly. The clip even softened his ladies' man image, proving pauses can be powerful when handled with charm. George Jones's mishap began in a bar and ended at the wrong auditorium. After an afternoon refilling his glass, Jones barged into a venue, guitar ready, only to learn his contracted show was across town. Rather than flee, he signed autographs, hugged patrons, and drunkenly promised a makeup concert. He then lumbered into the correct hall hours late, voice ragged but spirit blazing. Tabloids mocked him, yet fans admired the honesty. No-Show Jones had reinforced his own myth. Patsy Cline's pain cut deeper. Her first Grand Ole Opry appearance was met not with applause but icy silence. Some even booed the confident young singer in her peppermint cowgirl outfit. She pushed through, voice trembling yet powerful. Years later, she returned as a star, recalling that brutal night to encourage newcomers. The embarrassment became fuel, proof that even icons start with scraped knees. Johnny Cash's dramatic collapse on stage in Winnipeg looked like sheer exhaustion, but insiders whispered about a disastrous amphetamine mix. The man in black crumpled mid-song. Stagehands rushed him away while fans held collective breath. Newspapers speculated fever, dehydration, any palatable excuse. Rumor mills ran with pharmacological misadventure. Cash later joked that hitting the floor taught him gravity never lies. The scare nudged him toward rehab, shaping the redemption arc fans still cherish. Hank Williams Jr. detonated morning television decorum when a casual interview veered into politics. Passion flared, colorful language flew, and producers smashed the commercial button. America sipped coffee while Hank Jr. trended for all the wrong reasons. Sponsors recoiled, album streams jumped. He issued a half apology that satisfied no one yet changed nothing about his outlaw image. Glenn Campbell's leaked DUI footage painted a beloved guitar virtuoso, stumbling, slurring, and berating officers. The grainy video circled evening news like a vulture. Commentators predicted career ruin. Instead, ticket sales climbed. Audiences wanted to witness the comeback in real time, to sing along as he wrestled demons under the spotlight. His candid apology tour, tear-stained and sincere, showed vulnerability money can't manufacture. Tammy Wynette faced heartbreak inches from the curtain. A courier slid divorce papers from George Jones into her trembling hands seconds before she stepped on stage. Under blistering lights, she delivered "Stand by Your Man" with a quivering voice and watery eyes that no acting coach could replicate. Fans felt every fracture in her heart. The song soared back up the charts, doubling royalties even as her marriage crumbled. Tanya Tucker's Vegas meltdown felt volcanic. Mid-set, she slammed the mic, accused her band of sabotaging tempo, and stormed off, leaving the orchestra in a dissonant puddle. Rumors of heartbreak, exhaustion, and too many late-night whiskeys swirled. She returned the following evening contrite, voice raw, but tickets sold out anyway. Audiences love a storm, but they'll pay double for the sunrise afterward. Brenda Lee's foot-in-mouth moment came at a tribute concert she misread as a roast. She cracked jokes about the guest of honor's eccentric wardrobe, only to watch gasps freeze the air. The man had passed away, and this was a memorial. Mortification flushed her cheeks crimson. She apologized through tears and sang a hymn so tender some attendees forgave her on the spot. Others never did. Either way, the anecdote stuck like chewing gum under the pew. Merle Haggard launched a clean slate comeback tour just as a dusty mugshot resurfaced on the wire. The black and white image of his younger self in county stripes plastered newspapers coast to coast. Instead of hiding, Haggard walked on stage holding the clipping, said, "Seems I brought a little history with me," and kicked into Mama Tried. Merchandise booths couldn't print shirts fast enough. Willie Nelson's tax troubles erupted during what should have been a laid-back radio chat. Asked about finances, Willie casually revealed the exact multi-million figure he owed the IRS. Producers' eyes bulged. The audio went viral before viral was a thing, fueling late-night jokes for weeks. Willie's response? A benefit album titled The IRS Tapes. He turned debt into gold, literally. Charlie Rich provided one of country's most surreal award show dramas. Presenting Entertainer of the Year at the 1975 CMAs, Rich opened the envelope, saw John Denver's name, and in a haze of liquid courage flicked a lighter and torched the card on live television. Silence thicker than Texas asphalt blanketed the hall. Denver accepted nervously. Rich's phone rang nonstop, with cancellations. Yet years later, the clip became legendary. A rebellious wildfire no publicist could extinguish. Kenny Rogers stepped onto a talk show set after cosmetic tweaks left him almost unrecognizable. Viewers blinked, wondering whether the camera lens had warped. Memes exploded across early internet forums comparing the gambler to porcelain dolls. Kenny admitted later the procedure didn't quite land, a humble nod that cooled ridicule. His voice remained butter smooth, and fans eventually accepted the new visage, if only because the song still felt like home. Here's the kicker. Every stumble you just heard, from Dolly's airborne wig to Kenny's surgical surprise, forged deeper bonds between star and fan. Audiences witnessed not slick branding but raw human chaos, and that vulnerability hits harder than any steel guitar riff. Embarrassment can be career jet fuel if the artist owns it with a grin or a tear. So next time you see a spotlight, remember how thin the line is between triumph and tabloid headline. Lean in because the greatest country tales aren't always written on gold records. Sometimes they're scribbled on backstage napkins soaked in nerves and soda. Embarrassment, when embraced, morphs into storytelling currency. Take Dolly again. That wig wobble pushed her to joke about authenticity in later interviews. She started pulling the hairpiece slightly forward on purpose during certain encores, teasing the audience with, "Y'all sure it's really mine?" Ticket stubs from those shows became keepsakes because fans felt part of the in-joke. The mishap birthed a ritual, proof that vulnerability can be monetized when wrapped in charm. Loretta, after securing stronger straps, wrote a cheeky verse referencing wardrobe betrayal. It never charted, yet bootleg copies circulate among die-hard collectors who swear the song captures her funniest side. Without the embarrassing spark, that hidden gem would never exist. Reba's staircase pratfall nudged producers to rethink award show set design. Safety rails discreetly installed along future stages owe their origins to her stumble. Industry insiders even coined the phrase Reba test. Does the stage pass inspection by someone wearing a ball gown the size of Oklahoma? One slip, permanent improvement. That's the economics of embarrassment. Porter Wagoner's split pants accidentally sparked a fashion trend. Designers began hiding reinforced stretch panels beneath rhinestone seams. By the late 70s, the Porter gusset was standard in custom suits, saving untold artists from a glittery reveal. A single wardrobe snafu reshaped stage couture. Conway Twitty's blank verse inspired cognitive coaches to create memory workshops for touring musicians. They studied footage of his freeze, noting stress triggers, then built breathing routines practiced today. The silence that once rattled him now powers an entire cottage industry of artist wellness. George Jones's Wrong Venue romp birthed a folklore circuit. Bars he mistakenly visited framed his drunken signature and capitalized on the legend. Tourists snapped selfies where Jones once apologized. A misstep became an economic boost for local honky-tonks. Patsy Cline's initial booing turned into an anthem of perseverance. Modern talent shows replay her shaky debut to remind hopefuls that rejection can be the prelude to reverence. Her embarrassment is now a teaching tool. Johnny Cash's collapse planted seeds for backstage medical protocols. Concerts today stock crash carts because one black-clad icon hit the floor. Personal downfall, public safeguard. Hank Jr.'s televised tirade ushered in delay buttons for daytime interviews, protecting hosts from future expletive storms. Even Morning Talk owes a nod to that caffeinated controversy. Glenn Campbell's arrest clip fueled musicians' rehabilitation outreach. He later became an advocate, telling young players that one bad night caught on tape doesn't dictate destiny. The humiliating footage saved strangers he'd never meet. Tammy Wynette's backstage divorce shock influences tour managers to shield artists from legal servings hours before curtain. A new clause exists in many booking contracts. No personal deliveries within showday windows. Her broken heart rewrote business policy. Tanya Tucker's Vegas eruption prompted record labels to install wellness liaisons on high-stress residencies. Bands now have on-call counselors because one star threw down a mic in neon heat. Brenda Lee's memorial mishap encouraged promoters to brief performers rigorously on event tone. Today, even private rehearsals include context rundowns labeled Brenda Notes. A cringe moment became institutional memory. Merle Haggard's revived mugshot led marketing teams to preemptively share sanitized backstory, reducing shock when dirt surfaces. That antique county stripe photo inadvertently invented the Own Your Past press strategy. Willie Nelson's IRS confession birthed charity albums as debt weapons. He taught the industry to turn liabilities into vinyl assets, funneling fan love straight into tax checks. Charlie Rich's flaming envelope triggered a no-open flame rule at countless award shows. Fire marshals list his outburst as case study number 1. Comedy for us, caution for organizers. Kenny Rogers' surgery surprise opened frank conversations about cosmetic expectations for aging performers. His candid regret inspired younger stars to weigh decisions carefully, perhaps saving careers and faces. Notice the pattern? Each embarrassment looks like a derailment until time, perspective, and a clever pivot transform it into rocket fuel. Audiences claim to crave perfection, yet when the mask slips, they lean closer, hearts purring, wallets open. Why? Because flaws prove the singer on stage grapples with the same cosmic joke we do. Life will pants you when you least expect it. Now picture a spotlight warming an empty microphone. You've heard the bloopers. What about the bigger stakes? In this business, a single flub can rewrite contracts, spawn safety standards, and inject millions into local economies. That's the hush-hush secret managers mumble backstage. Embarrassment is expensive, but sometimes the return on investment is priceless. Still, not everyone sticks the landing. Some stars freeze, deny, or blame a tech glitch. Audiences smell that fear and click away. The alchemy works only when the artist laughs first, claims the narrative, and invites fans into the absurdity. Dolly fixed her wig with style. Porter clutched his sparkling taco pants and winked. That grit turned mortification into marketing. Think about your own life. Maybe you've tripped up, sent the wrong text, botched an interview, sang off key at karaoke. Those moments feel terminal until you own them. Say the joke before someone else, and suddenly the punchline belongs to you. Country legends prove it. So where does that leave us today? Simple. If you felt butterflies while hearing these stories, smash that like button. If your jaw hit the floor when Charlie lit that envelope, share this video. And if you're still here, you're ready for the next ride beyond the polished facade. Hit subscribe now, because our next deep dive uncovers the messy drafts hiding behind country music's biggest chart toppers, including the secret wordsmith who wrote hits in jail and the ghostwriter who demanded payment in puppies. Before we part, let's rewind and spotlight the psychology at work here. Neuroscientists say a jolt of secondhand embarrassment triggers the same limbic zing as roller coaster drops, releasing adrenaline and dopamine in a weird cocktail that glues viewers to the screen. Producers know this. That's why rehearsal footage accidentally leaks, and why live broadcasts remain live despite every technological excuse to pre-record. The possibility of a slip is the ticket. No gamble, no thrill. Classic publicists fought that reality with iron fists, smothering anything unscripted. Modern teams flip the playbook, planting just enough chaos to humanize artists without sending them fully off the rails. Think of Dolly winking at her own hair, or Willie cashing in on tax jokes. That's controlled spontaneity, a paradox that turns mishaps into marketing pipelines. Yet authenticity can't be faked forever. Audiences eventually spot orchestrated bloopers the way a ranch dog sniffs out imitation bacon. The magic ingredient remains genuine surprise, followed by a reaction that feels real, not rehearsed. Watch the slow-motion replay of Loretta catching her busted strap, the microsecond of shock before the grin sells the whole experience. It's a truth you feel in your gut. This dynamic is why every embarrassing clip we explored kept growing after the initial news cycle. People return to these moments like campfire stories. Each retelling adds color, amplifies detail, threads in fresh meaning. Over decades, the incidents evolve from goofy gossip to cultural folklore. They morph into cautionary tales for newbies and nostalgic triggers for veterans. They become, in short, living history. So when some slick PR rep insists absolute perfection is the golden rule, remember the Rhinestone rebels. Their flaws didn't close doors, they kicked them wider. They taught radio hosts to think faster, stage builders to plan safer, costume makers to sew stronger, and listeners to love deeper. That, my friend, is impact money can't buy. If you're scrolling on your phone now, hit that bell icon so you don't miss the next reel of unfiltered legends. And if you've ever faced a personal faceplant, tell us how you bounced back. We might feature you in an upcoming video. Together we'll keep proving that the crack in the vase lets the candlelight escape, making the whole room glow. Thanks for riding through the bloopers and breakthroughs of country royalty with me. Until the next verse, stay curious, stay kind, and never fear a little stumble. After all, a song without a blue note ain't country at all.